Good morning, everyone. Welcome to week 15 of our CSA. So we're halfway through the CSA, and it's been a while since I did a video of the farm, so I thought I'd give kind of a farm tour on how things are looking right now, some things you can expect to see soon. So this is our winter squash field. Basically all of this is things like butternut squash, acorn squash, delicata squash, things like that. So you can see lots of beautiful flowers for the squash. And then here is a delicata that's growing. It's still green. Here is some delicata that are getting close to being ready. So maybe soon we'll be harvesting some delicata. And then I'll walk down here and see if I can find some butternuts that are growing. Okay, so I made it out in the middle of the field to the butternut. So you can see a little baby butternut and then one that's getting close to full size, and then it'll start to turn that like bronze, yellow, orange color that they do. So we love to grow butternut squash. It's delicious, it stores really well, so we can use it in our winter CSA too. So a lot of this out here is a great variety South Anna butternut that we really love. Hopefully we'll have a good year for butternut. Here's some bees pollinating. Thank you, bees. There's two in there. They're having a good time. So the squash field, the winter squash field is looking good. You can see our strips of buckwheat kind of as well in there. And now I'll come over there to some cover crop. So this is the first field you see right when you come in the farm. And right now it's in cover crop with sun hemp, which is this. It's really soft and nice. And then these are sunflowers. So right now this is almost waist high, and it will get above my head before it's done growing. We really love to use sun hemp as a cover crop, and we started mixing sunflowers in too. So this will be really beautiful when it's all done. Now we'll make our way up there. Okay, it's a little windy, but I'm going to try to show you. This is a buckwheat cover crop. We love growing buckwheat in big fields like this. It's so beautiful. And if they stop moving, you can see all the bumblebees and wasps and just all types of different little bitty insects you can barely see, just loving the flowers. It is just alive with pollinators and predatory insects, and just is a beautiful thing to see. Growing cover crops is probably one of my favorite parts of farming. So we'll let this bloom for a while, and all the bees will be so happy. And then right here we have another field of sun hemp. It's just full sun hemp. Oh, sorry, it's pretty windy. You can see it blowing in the wind. And then up here we've got our final crop of tomatoes and some other things I'll show you. So this field has our last planting of tomatoes. You can see they haven't been trellised or anything yet. You see how dry it's been. The soil is so dry. We haven't put any irrigation out here yet. So we do multiple plantings of tomatoes. This will be our third or fourth one. We'll come in here and we'll prune them once. So we'll look for the first set of flowers, which is going to be right there, and we'll come through, and all these little suckers we'll take off and we'll prune them, and then we'll trellis them up, and they'll hopefully give us good tomatoes till about October. And then this is our peanuts. They're still real small. We planted them pretty late this year because we were so behind, but we did plant them. We've got maybe 4 or 5 rows of peanuts, so hopefully they'll still have enough time to grow and it'll be great. And then we've also got a last planting of green beans. We usually like to do a lot of green beans, but again, the direct seeding was difficult this spring because it was so wet. We had to get in here, but I'm excited about the peanuts that we got in. So this is a recent planting of some squash. You can see the flowers and the little baby squash. we do multiple successions of squash and zucchini as well. So some squash and some zucchini. And then over here are some cucumbers, another planting of cucumbers. And then these plants are actually our pumpkins. So we're hoping to have some pumpkins this year for y'all, like jack-o'-lantern types. We always love to grow the Thai pumpkins that are sweet and edible because we are growing food and we like things that you can eat. But we know that people like jack-o'-lantern pumpkins too, so we're going to try to grow some of those this year for y'all. They're just vining right now. It's kind of hard to get the timing right with the pumpkins because you want them to be ready, you know, in time for October, but not ready too early and not ready too late, but we'll see if we get it right. And then we've got some beautiful buckwheat strips over here. And then past that is some melons, some watermelon and cantaloupe, and then even more watermelon and cantaloupe past that buckwheat. So this is our second planting. It's not the ones that we're just starting to harvest. This will be another planting. You see there's lots of happy bees in here too, pollinating the melons. Thank you, bees. They're all over these flowers. We'll go see the melons y'all are getting now. It doesn't look quite this pretty. The melon beds tend to get pretty weedy since, as you can tell, there's no weeding them once they spread out. So we'll head that way. This is our sweet potato field. We grow a lot of sweet potatoes every year. They're delicious and really good for you. And as you can see, we've got nice healthy sweet potatoes, but we also have a lot of weeds. We've got some like pigweed and some goosefoot. We are going to actually work on this afternoon, trying to pull this out before they make about 1 million tiny seeds. So it can be hard with the vining crops because they spread out and then you can't mechanically cultivate, and we don't have a lot of time to hand weed. And now for our high tunnel. A lot of growers really like high tunnels, but we feel like ours is kind of cursed this year. You know, at first the plastic was blown off at a pretty critical moment, and now we are having some other trouble. So we do have some really nice like eggplant in here, and some of the tomatoes are looking okay. Let's see, look at this eggplant. We're gonna have a good crop of eggplant. We've got a lot, and we've got some outdoors in the field too. Here's some peppers, like some bell peppers. But the problem is, as you can tell, kind of in the middle of the tunnel, things are dying. And we have a soil-borne pathogen, a fungus, southern blight, in our tunnel that has come this season. And it lives in the soil, and it affects almost everything, it seems, but all the summer crops. So like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, cucumbers, all that stuff it can affect. We've done some research and it seems to affect everything except for like grasses, which is pretty evident by our high tunnel. So our tomatoes are dying. Some of our peppers have died. It seems to be in the middle and spreading out. So, but that's okay because we don't just plant in the high tunnel, we plant outdoors too. We, you know, spread out our crops. Here's some, and we do have some nice things still. Here's some nice eggplant in here. So, you know, high tunnels are good and bad. We'll have to figure out either, it's really hard to get rid of the fungus once you have it, but we're going to do some research into that and see what we can do about it. You see they wilt and then they eventually die. But we're getting really good tomatoes outdoors, so it's okay. These really cool looking plants that don't seem to be affected by it are loofah gourds. So these really big things, will let them totally grow and dry, and then they're the loofahs that you can like bathe with or wash your dishes with, so like a natural sponge. So they're really cool. They're like a vining plant. We've always wanted to grow some. They had them on one of the first farms I ever worked on, and they were really cool. And so hopefully we'll have enough maybe to give everyone a loofah, which would be fun. So those are growing really well in here. these were our flower plots. They're kind of nearing the end of their life now, but the insects are still loving them. So we've still got some flowers. And then we actually experimented and planted some indigo this year, like you can use for natural dyeing. We're not quite sure what to do with it now, so if anyone has experience, you can let me know. It doesn't seem to like the drought. Some of it has died, but we do have some beautiful indigo. I would like to maybe try once to dye with it, and maybe we'll try it again next year and see if we can have some more time. And so this is our first planting of melons, where your melons are currently coming from. As you can see, there's a watermelon. Here is a cantaloupe. So we plant them and it is weed free, and then melons just, you know, without using like herbicides and stuff, it's kind of impossible to keep them weeded. So you can thank Brian, because he crawls through all this grass and searches for all the melons that are in here, like those watermelons. I see some moon and stars over there, and he somehow comes out of this with melons for y'all. So we've started giving them out. If you didn't get them last week, hopefully you'll get one this week or next. We really love to grow melons, even though they're kind of a pain to harvest. But that is what the melon field ends up looking like. And then over here was our first planting of squash. It is pretty much done for now. We're doing the other plantings. You can see how melons crept over here. And then we'll go over to our tomatoes we're harvesting.